Welcome, everyone, to the journey. I am Reverend Bobby, and today I have with me one of my just goodest friends. She's just a wonderful woman, Miss Billie Billups. How are you today, Billie?
I am fine, sir.
She is fine. She says, sir, so I'm going to see if they make any more like her. She's the only one to do that. Anyway, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Gospel of Robert, capital Gospelof, capital Robert, no spaces. You got to put the at sign in front to get to the page so you can subscribe and be notified whenever we put up some good stuff. So, Billie, catch me up and tell the people something about yourself.
Okay. By the way, I call you sir out of respect. I actually have a lot of respect for you. And when I have respect for a gentleman like yourself, I always address them as sir.
That is just
So,
fine with me, darling.
okay. Oh, okay. All right. So, where do I begin? That's the question. So, I guess I'll begin with my journey into my passion, which is health and wellness. Okay, and that journey began close to 30 years ago when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was teaching school at the time. And so she had to go to a lot of appointments. She had to do physical therapy and not physical therapy. I mean,
I know what you
you
mean.
know what I'm talking about, chemotherapy.
She had
And
to do
then,
chemo,
yeah.
right?
And then she had to do radiation and all of that. And the other thing about that is that it was caught late. So it had metastasized in her body. But I wanted to be with her to support her during the journey that she was having in actually, I looked at it as destroying her body. And so as I said, was teaching school, and I became a little resentful that I had to go to work and I couldn't be with her for all of her appointments. So I decided at that time that I was going to actually leave my job as a teacher, retire early, and so that I could be with her. So I actually walked into my principal's office on Christmas break, and I said that I won't be back after Christmas break is over. And that is when I decided I have got to find a more natural way of healing because this is not, I didn't like what it was doing to my mother. And so I decided instead to go to back to school. And I went back to school for massage therapy and I became a licensed massage therapist. And I said, well, this is my doorway into the holistic health field. And
Now, was the massage therapy more the manipulation of the flesh, quote unquote, or more energy manipulation as you got further involved in it?
well, massage therapy is definitely physical touch and it is manipulation of the body. It's more manipulation, excuse me, more manipulation of the muscles in the body. And so we are working with your physical body to help it to provide some relaxation mostly and release of or relief of some physical pain that a person may be experiencing.
So, like in dealing with the issue she was dealing with, the massage would help like relax and stuff so that more of the natural healing stuff could take place instead of the chemotherapy. Because, you know, my mama had chemotherapy and all that stuff at 83 with breast cancer. I was a little bit with it, but that's the way it went down. I was outvoted. But did you practice some of that with your mom also?
Unfortunately, she passed away before I got a chance to do that. She had, as I said, it had metastasized, and she only had a few. She just actually caught it too late,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time that she caught it, it was all over her body and in her
Mm-hmm.
bones and everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, but it was the thing that made me decide, okay, this is my purpose, this is my journey, this is what I need to do so that this doesn't happen again, to other members of the family, to
Mm-hmm.
people that I love. If there's something that we can do to offset it, uh, that was my purpose of going into that field.
Now, did massage therapy, was that the that was the catalyst to the beginning of the wellness journey? What other things are included, or as I tell, or as I say and ask people, what else you got in your tool bag?
Okay. And I do have a tool bag, actually. I do have a lot of things in my toolbox. I call it my toolbox. Okay. As I said, massage therapy was my gateway or my doorway into exploring other ways of holistic health and natural healing. Because as a licensed massage therapist, we are required to take additional courses every year to keep our license. And so I stumbled upon something called zero balancing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a combination of physical manipulation as well as energetic manipulation as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I felt like I had really found my place there because I could see that the healing power of the touch, but I could also see the energetic movement that was
Mm-hmm.
taking place as a result of the physical touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I realized I was not only working with the person's physical body, but I was also working with their energy body as well, because we have a physical body and we have an energetic body and we have a spiritual body.
So as you begin to delve into the zero balance, how did the zero balance work through you? Did you, like, just become like a channel for these things to happen, or was there intentional some things that you do?
That is a very good question. And I'm glad you asked that question because that needs to really be cleared up. Okay, so in zero balancing, we used informed touch. We we use our information is in our hands when we're touching the person. We have no agenda when we're doing zero balancing. We address the whole person, even though the person may come in and say, oh, I got a terrible backache or my knee hurts or whatever is ailing them. We hear you when you say that, but we have a certain protocol that we follow, and that protocol involves touching the whole body and addressing all of the acupressure points in the body, all of the energy centers in the body, because whether we realize it or not, we have energy that's stuck in our bodies. So when we're using our hands, remember, this is informed. I'm sorry, I'm using my hands. This is informed touch. So the only way we're going to find out what the person needs is through touch. We don't have an agenda, or we don't rely on anything to come down and tell us what to do. We just, once we get in that zone of working with the person, it just happens magically, I guess you could say. I hope that
Because
answers the question.
it did, because I know in the work I do, you just go in as a clear vessel, for that healing and
Exactly.
prosper and power of the love of God, because that's where I roll to do
Hmm.
its thing, and you just totally out the way as that vessel. And most healing modalities are really based on the same type of thing. What kind of fulfillment does it bring to you when you get results from your work with people?
Well, I tell you, as far as zero balancing is concerned, I love zero balancing and I love doing zero balancing because I get something out of it also. I'm getting healed as while I'm healing. When you heal, you are not healed alone. And so I just felt the satisfaction of being healed in the process of, although in zero balancing we're working with energy, but we're not exchanging energy. And that's something that I want people to understand as well. I'm working with your energy and I am keeping your energy separate from my energy. But once we're in this, in the field is a healing field that kind of just takes over the area in the treatment room, if you want to say so. And we're in this together, but that person has their energy, I have my energy, and we're all just our energies are being affected
Yeah.
by the process.
It's a reciprocal type of thing, but each person keeps their identity in the healing process, which makes it, so cool for me. And what are some of the real cool things that you've seen or been a part of as you've been doing this work?
Well, I have seen people get off because when you're doing zero balancing, let me just say a little bit about zero balancing. It
Okay.
feels good like
You
a
can say a
massage.
lot of bit if you would like.
Okay, it feels good like a massage, but it's not a massage because you're on a massage table. It's done through your clothes, so you don't remove your clothes, and we don't use oil or anything like that on the body. And another thing that we do is when we are touching your body, we once we see the energy to start moving through your body, and we can see it, and I'll tell you how in a minute, we take our hands off the body, and that keeps us from exchanging energy for one thing. And the other thing is that it gives the person's body a chance to respond to the movement. So, what I have noticed in giving zero balancing to my clients, and information that I've received from them also, is that we do a little stretching too. I should say that, because sometimes they'll get off the table and they'll say, "Oh, I feel so much taller."
The
They
rack.
Yeah, we do some gentle traction also.
Yeah.
Your energy can get stuck in your hips, your energy can get stuck in your knees, your energy can get stuck in your shoulders. So we do a little traction to help release that energy. And energy can run and hide from you too. So once you release the energy from the shoulder, it might run to your spine or it might run somewhere else. That's why we do a full body protocol addressing every area of the body. Even though it may be just your knee that's bothering you, we're still going to deal with your spine. We're still going to deal with your shoulders, because your energy is going to run from one place to the other. We want to get all of that energy that is stuck in your body. We want to get it all out. And the goal is to have a clearer, stronger field of energy in your body. But
Because everything is actually interconnected. It's just like, when I work for IBM fixing stuff, one thing could take out another thing, could take out another thing. Just like with cars and stuff, because everything is interdependent
yes,
on something else. Now once you get that energy flow to flow, and you take the hands off, that basically could take care of whatever infirmity or disease, like not at ease with life, that could show up, because now the flow is back, and you're balancing back at ease with life. That could take care of a lot of stuff, releasing that energy, that pent up energy, couldn't it?
and yes, and how do we know it has taken care of it? Because we keep our attention on the person. We never take our eyes off of the person that we're working on. So what we're looking for a little flutter of the eyelids. We're looking for the person to swallow. We're looking for the person to take a deep breath. We're looking for the person's fingers to move. We look for we call it working signs. And once we see that working sign, we know the energy is moving. Then we can go back and put our hands back on the body and continue with the process.
So it's more of a process of freeing the energy up to move instead of like, other modalities, you're releasing stuff and that kind of thing. So it's just basically, like you say, bringing them back to the zero balance where they ain't got
Right.
nothing
And
on
that's
them.
why it was named Zero Balance.
Yeah.
Dr. Fritz Smith, he was a medical doctor, and he actually developed the name Zero Balancing. He was working on his patients, and he was doing zero balancing with them, doing the manipulation, but he didn't know what to call it. So
Mm-hmm.
one lady, one of his patients, when she got off the table, she said, "Wow, I feel back to zero. I feel back to zero. I feel zero balanced." And that's where the name Zero Balancing actually came up from. Yes.
So
Oh,
how long has
one more thing, let me just say this. A lot of us don't realize that we do have energy stuck in our bodies. And an example would be you're driving and all of a sudden someone cuts in front of you. You tense up, right? Okay, so that energy is there, and it might get comfortable and stay there unless you get zero balanced, unless you do something like that. Or when you were a child and you were riding your bike or skates or whatever, you fell off your bike, you hit your knee on the ground. Because you're young and carefree, you just get up and start running again. Hey, but that energy is still in your knee. And so what you have to do is, and it'll show up later when you get on that table, and you'll remember, oh yes, back when I was 12 years old, I fell on my knee, and here it's manifesting. It's been sitting there all along until it got touched. And we have a special touch that we use also. It's called a fulcrum. And if you know what a fulcrum is, it's a still point. So with our fingers, which we use, are kind of like acupressure.
Yeah.
So when we press into that still point, we hold it. We hold it until we feel the energy release.
Mhm.
Once we feel it release, that's a still point, and it may take 3 to 5, 6 seconds. Once we feel it release, we let go so it can move. We don't want to hold on to it. We let it go.
How long have you been a zero balance practitioner?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think. What is this,
Don't
2025?
be telling me I got all these good questions. I ain't that smart.
It's 2025 now, and I started zero balancing after I left the public schools,
Mhm.
and I think I left in 20. I think I left around 2013 or 2003. A three is coming up in my head.
Okay.
It was either
The
2003 or
years smushed together,
thank
so don't
you.
be trying to break your brain.
I got my certificate hanging in my office. I can go in my office and look at my certificate, and it will tell me when I was
Okay, you can
certified in
tell me
zero
that
balance.
next time. Okay.
Okay. But let me just say something about my certificate.
There's that teacher finger. I could tell you was a teacher.
You see, I'm a teacher. Once a teacher, always a teacher. Yeah, so just to say that about my certificate, I value that certificate more than I do my master's degree. I have a master's degree from Northeastern Illinois University, but that zero balancing certificate means the world to me. And I am so proud to be a part of the zero balancing community.
Does the health and wellness activities that you participate in, no matter the modality, because I know you got tools and stuff in your bag, do you find it to be in line like with your primary stuff, teaching more than anything else,
Yeah,
teaching people how to stay healthy? Because we don't have a healthcare system in the United States of America. People don't understand that this is a sick care system. I fight
yeah.
with the doctors, talk about I'm not a sick people. You can't treat me like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get our thing, I need you as a counsel to do what you do. Yeah, but listen, dude, I'm in charge of this shit. So is it more of an education type of thing with people since we
To be
are in a
with
sick
you, it
care
is
system?
it is educational, but it's also spiritual as well.
Mhm.
I feel it's like my purpose. I feel that this is what I am supposed to be doing, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I would do it even if I wasn't getting paid to do it. And that is because I feel good too. So I'm getting something out of it also. So
So I know you made a change lately, or maybe still back and forth from, your, um,
I'm an entrepreneur.
you know, wait a minute, girl.
Okay.
I'm talking about your residential stuff. Back to the
Oh, okay.
ATL
Okay.
from Chicago. You was back and forth for a minute. Then you said, "Well, it's time to come home. I've been in a foreign land long enough." How you like it back in the ATL?
Okay, well, let me say this. I was born in Atlanta. I was
Yes.
born at Grady Hospital. My parents moved to Chicago when I was 5 years old. And so I grew up in Chicago until I went away to college. I went to Clark. They call it Clark. It was Clark College when I went there,
Right.
but now it's called Clark Atlanta University because they
University. Right.
merged. You know about that because you're from the AU Center also.
Yeah, I was across the street.
So, and then when the pandemic, and so I was pretty cool with being in Chicago. Even after my mother passed, I stayed there a while and got involved in the cultural scene and all of that, which was really nice. But then the pandemic hit.
Oh no.
And when that hit, my children who live here in Atlanta said, "Mom, you need to get down here right now." I jumped in my car. I didn't pack because they said at that time they were talking about closing down the borders of the cities and, all of that. So I remember it was a Sunday morning. I jumped in my car and I drove to Atlanta 12 hours with just the clothes on my back. I don't even know if I had anything else, but anyway, I came here, and that was in the pandemic hit in 2020. I think I got here in March of 2020. I stayed with my daughter for a while. And then when the pandemic kind of let up a little bit and it was safe again to go back into the community and back into society, I thought about it and I said, now, do I want to go back to Chicago? Do I want to go back to shoveling snow? Do I want to go back to the cold? Do I want to go back to the windy city? I love Chicago, but not in the wintertime.
I know, right?
Chicago's a beautiful city. It really
It
is.
is.
And I do miss it. But I'm okay here for the most part. It gets a little too hot for me sometimes. And I miss that wind and I miss that lake.
Yeah.
But
That,
I can always come to Chicago.
that was the one thing I missed when I was in Atlanta, the water. Everything was
Yeah.
hunky dory. I had my limo service and all that kind of stuff down there. But I
Yeah.
really did miss the water and the lake. Now, Miss Entrepreneur, tell me about some more stuff in your tool bag.
Okay, so I'm always learning.
Always?
I will be learning until I leave this plane. Okay. And so while I was while during the pandemic, everything, we couldn't go out. So I was learning a lot of stuff online. And so I took a course in energy healing. And with that course, and I became certified in that as well. And with that, I found that, okay, you don't have to be in my physical presence in order for me to work with you. And in order to me to do energetic work with you, because everything is energy anyway. And it just made so much sense. So I got involved with a company called Solex, which has this device. It's called an AO scan, and it can scan your body and it can literally tell you what is going on in your body. And I was fascinated with that. And so I got involved with that. And then so I started meeting my clients in space instead of meeting them in a physical place where it would have had to have been with massage therapy or with zero balancing. And so from that, so that's one of my tools in my toolbox is energy or frequency healing. Because what the scanner does is it does send out frequencies, healing frequencies, once we determine what is happening in your body, you can heal your body through frequencies. And frequencies are real. Actually, frequencies are making us sick too. We're
Well, I
getting
know the
frequencies.
radio waves, the RF stuff.
Yes, yes.
It was where I lived one time. It was high voltage wires, and going through the tunnel, you could hear them wires humming and cracking,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that energy coming off. But
Yeah.
those things we can't do too much about. So what can we do
What we
to
can do
to
is
save ourselves, Billy?
counteract those frequencies with healing frequencies. I run my scanner almost all day long and all night long. I go to sleep with my scanner running, and basically I'm sending frequencies to combat the Wi-Fi, because I have Wi-Fi in my house. And I send it out not only to myself but to my family as well.
Right, right.
And we just have to counteract those frequencies with different frequencies or healing frequencies. And then in addition to that, we also need to take in nutritional products and supplements to help, because it's an inside outside job. So you got to do things because it's affecting your insides as well. So I partnered with a company. I was doing mostly energy work, but some of my clients were asking for some physical things that they could take or do to help with whatever the issue is that they were addressing. So once again, I got out there, I started researching and learning, and found a wonderful company that I'm now associated with. It's called Vital Health Global. And I am absolutely loving my company that I'm involved with now, because our products are all natural. They are herbal, and they're based on the principles of Dr. Sebi. And some people may know who Dr. Sebi is. The formulator for our products was a friend of the wife of Dr. Sebi. And so she learned a lot about the herbs that Dr. Sebi talks about. And these products are just amazing. And when I saw them and read about them, I feel like I had finally found my home after 30 years.
Well, that's good to find your home. But listen, about finding a home in 30 years. Um, it's 30 years upfront work in whatever we do before we really settle in and find our place. In ministry, it's 30 years of out here, doing the stuff that we do to learn before your own ministry starts. I got 30 years in, so now my own stuff is starting up. You got 30 years in the business, so now Billy's wellness ideas can come to fruition to not only help Billy the family, but others, the masses,
Yeah.
in this thing, because part of our problem is we spend too much time being in these altered states. This is a life for us to live healthily and to prosper and to have good things happen to us. So in that, as we come close to the end of this segment of the journey, what would you say to people that just is in a tizzy and don't know what to do, upside down, round and round, hit a wall in life? What would you suggest that they do?
Okay. So physically, let's start with mentally first, because the mental body actually controls the physical body, right?
Right.
And so when there's dis-ease in your body, it's usually coming from something that's going on with you emotionally. And so the thing that you want to do is keep your emotions in check. So you want to always pay attention to the way that you feel. That's just so important. And I guess there's many ways for you to do that. Of course, you can meditate, you can pray, You can listen to calming sounds, calming music, frequencies. There's lots of frequency music on healing music on YouTube. So you want to make sure, and I also use it with my AO scan. I send frequencies that a person can listen to. They're called harmonics, and I can send those to a person and they can listen to these harmonics, and it will help to get them back in balance, and it will help them to calm their nervous system. And that is the key. The key is to calm your nervous system. Once your nervous system is calm, then everything else just really kind of falls into place physically.
Yeah.
And so you need some help with your physical stuff too. And the reason, and I'm beginning to realize it now more and more, and this is why I partnered with Vital Health Global, because we now know that our soil is depleted. We know that we are being bombarded with pesticides, what else? All that fungi and just bacteria and all that stuff that's physically out there. And in addition to that, we've got stuff coming from the sky. We've got the chemtrails. We're just in a place where we're just being bombarded every day with things that are not good for us. So the first thing you should do, and you should do this frequently, is detox your body. Get all that stuff out of your body, not just the bad food that you're eating, but all the other stuff that you're getting, the frequency, the waves that you're getting from microwaves, and the waves that you're getting just from, being in the environment, the pollen, everything. So I recommend, and I do it myself, is every month I do a detox for a week. And it just so happens in my company, we have a detox tea that we recommend, and you drink this tea for a week. And then whatever else you put into your body, you're putting it into a cleaner body, because it is going to detox your organs in your body.
That makes a difference, the cleanliness of the body. And thank you for that. So as Billie and I have reached the end of this segment of the journey, we hope, we pray, and thank you so much for coming. And I know I'm going to get you to do another one. But we hope and we pray, we ask, and we demand from the universe that we all journey well from here. Take care. Peace. Tell the people bye.
Well, and thank you, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.